Chicago mayor declares city Trump-free zone after president declares he will scrap DACA immigration program. How exactly can he do this? How can he just be in complete defiance of the federal government and the president and say, you know what, no, we're just not going to do that because we don't feel like it? Are there no penalties for him doing this? I don't know the US political system well enough to know what happens when the mayor of Chicago decides to, I don't know, just refuse the president's authority. What happens next? I mean, if I were the president, I wouldn't accept that, because then you're going to get other mayors going, well, you know what, we feel the same way. I'm like, no, you don't. And even if you do, I don't care, because I'm the fucking president, and that's how authority works. I was elected to the presidency. You were elected to be mayors. Unless this is some kind of secession attempt, what the fuck do you mean you're not going to follow the rules? You know, follow the laws, and you're not going to follow the policy set down by the executive branch.
But I want to emphasize one thing that the alderman noted, the chairman, that I think is very important. And that is that President Trump has talked about ending the Dreamers program. To all the Dreamers that are here in this room and in the city of Chicago, you are welcomed in the city of Chicago. This is your home, and you have nothing to worry about.
Okay, that's lovely. A lovely, lovely message. The Dreamers, the people who are buying into the American dream, perhaps. Very much like Jim Acosta's, oh, well, what about the poem on the Statue of Liberty? Are these really the ways you're going to govern your country? With poetry and idioms and sayings. Folk wisdom next, is it? I mean, you're not going to just look at the numbers. You're not going to look at the data and go, right, okay, what do people actually want? They seem to be against immigration, especially illegal immigration. Is illegal immigration a good thing? No, it's a direct violation of your laws, and you don't know who these people are. You don't know what crimes they've committed. I mean, obviously not the Dreamers themselves, but their parents. And you don't let people flout the fucking laws, because if you do that, you undermine the concept of having laws. You have to enforce the laws. I'm sorry, but that's what you have to do. If these people are illegal immigrants, then I'm sorry, but some action has to be taken. Now, I mean, I personally, with the quote-unquote Dreamers, I actually think it's a bit harsh for Trump to go after these people, because children of immigrants, they didn't have a choice. Personally, I would probably give them citizenship. I would probably just say, look, they're here, they've grown up here, we may as well make them American citizens. That's what they want to be. And that would be a popular thing for Trump to do with the left. That would get them off his back. But adult illegal immigrants who come to the country, who literally just, sneak their way in, send them back. They have to go back. And, oh, you're not going to send them home, are you? They're in such danger. It's like, no, they're only going to Mexico. There are people alive in Mexico right now. Millions of them. Surviving every day. They make it sound like Mexico's a post-apocalyptic hellhole or something. And don't get me wrong, I'm aware that there are parts of Mexico that are bad, but still, there are people who survive in Mexico, they can go back and apply legally. It's just, and I would say the same for any illegal immigrant to any fucking country, anywhere. Don't do it. If you can't get a permit to go into the country, then you're not allowed in the country. They're the rules. I'm sorry. But going after kids who have grown up there because their parents were illegal immigrants seems a bit harsh to me. I don't think it's the hill to die on. I personally would go, yeah, okay, you know what, I'm going to, as a concession to the left, we'll let those people stay. But we're reducing mass immigration in general, legal immigration. I would definitely, I mean, if I were Trump, I'd slash that as much as I could. I'd just be like, you know what, fuck it. We'll keep the Dreamers, but that's it. That's your immigration done. Oh, but what about the people in other countries? They can fucking stay there. Build the wall. But yeah, adult illegal immigrants, fine. If they're like, I don't know, within the last, 10 years or something. Something like that. I mean, it would just be easier to get the left off your back with, I think. You're going to have to compromise, I think, on this. But going after the Dreamers, it just seems a bit vindictive. It's harsh. That's what it is. It's harsh. But I don't understand how he can declare the city a Trump-free zone. And I think it is important to note that Obama, wasn't it an executive order that put DACA in place? It wasn't passed by Congress. which are the people who are supposed to pass the laws. So yeah, it is illegitimate. But, repealing it when there are bigger fish to fry, I think is unnecessary. Trump's Attorney General Jeff Sessions announced the decision to scrap the DACA program, calling it an open-ended circumvention of immigration laws and an unconstitutional use of executive authority. Fair enough. But again, I would go for... I would go for just mass immigration in general. I think do a Stephen Miller. Just call them on the cosmopolitan bias when you say, look, we're only accepting English-speaking people. And we're going to limit the number to, say, 200,000 a year. Something like that. They'd be like, but why? Because we can. Because that's what people want. Because nobody has a fucking right to come to a country. That's why. And we've decided, the American people have elected Donald Trump, and Donald Trump has decided the best thing for the United States would be to minimize mass immigration, have a point system so we're picking the best and brightest, and we're going to make sure they speak English, and it doesn't matter how many of them there are beyond 200,000 or whatever the arbitrary number is, they're just not going to be allowed in. Do that. That's what I would do. That's what they want to know. But their countries are horrible. Don't be racist. What's so racist? That's really racist. What are you saying? Mexico's full of shit people who do shit things and have made a shit country? That's really fucking racist. You can't say that. But yeah, there's been a great deal of spazzing out on social media, and there have been protests, and that's always entertaining to watch. But the actual young people who will be affected by this, it's not their fault. I think they're being punished unnecessarily. I would just give them citizenship. I mean, they're probably pretty naturalized. They're probably American citizens in their minds. And like I said, 800,000, it sounds like a lot, but I mean, America takes in 1 million legal immigrants a year. Cut that down. There's no need to have that many legal immigrants into any country. It's insane. But I hate this kind of airy-fairy rhetoric. These dreamers are Americans in their hearts, in their minds, in every single way but one, on paper. You don't know these people, Obama. You don't know anything about them. You couldn't name a single one of them. You couldn't point one out in a crowd and tell me anything about that person. You are just... This is just rhetoric. This is just, oh, doesn't this feel good? Yeah, fuck your feelings. Let's talk about the numbers. Let's talk about the facts. Let's talk about reality. And the reality is that people are not happy with the amount of mass immigration. And I'm guessing that's because the people who have to live with the immigration are having some sort of detrimental effect because of it. Just like in this country, in fact. You know, I don't see the need for mass immigration. Unless you're some sort of corporatist and you really, really want cheap labour. But I'm not. I think companies can hire people at a reasonable rate. The market will solve that problem, so I don't have to worry about it. All I have to say is no to immigration. And I'm all in favour of no to mass immigration. And you know what? Any other country that wants to do that, totally behind you. Totally behind you. If you are living in Belarus and you are suffering from Polish immigration and you don't want lots of immigration because the Poles are taking your jobs, then don't take it. If you're in Poland and they're trying to force you to take migrants, say no. These are your countries, these are your borders. You are completely within your rights to refuse entry to anyone in the world for any reason you want, because nobody has a right to enter a foreign fucking country. But more importantly, does this guy have the ability to literally say, we're not going to do what Donald Trump says? Chicago is what, a sovereign independent city-state now? I don't know the ins and outs of the actual implications of that, but seriously, to me it sounds like he's declaring his independence from the United States, practically. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, fucking the Dreamers thing, not the hill to die on, in my opinion. There are better, bigger fish to fry.